If your peach, plum, or cherry leaves are turning yellow and curling dry right now, there is a 90% chance you are making one simple mistake that is slowly killing your tree from the roots up, and I'm going to show you exactly how a spoon of baking soda from your kitchen fixed what fertilizer, water, and expensive sprays could not. Before we get into it, if you're serious about growing healthy, heavy-fruiting peach, plum, and cherry trees without wasting money on things that don't actually work, this channel is where you need to be. Every single week, I break down real orchard problems and real field-tested fixes, not theory from a textbook, but stuff I've done with my own hands on my own trees. So do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now before you forget. Turn on the notification bell too, because next week's video is going to save you even more money on your stone fruit trees. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly why your peach, plum, and cherry trees dry out and turn yellow even when you're watering them and feeding them like you're supposed to. I'm going to explain the real science behind it in plain, simple language. Then I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step method I use with baking soda that brought my dying trees back to full green, healthy growth in under 3 weeks. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to look for on your own trees and exactly what to do about it today, not next season. Let's talk honestly about what's actually happening in most backyards and small orchards right now. You planted a beautiful peach tree, maybe a plum or a cherry next to it. You watered it faithfully. You probably even threw some fertilizer down every spring, like your neighbor told you to. And then one day, usually right in the middle of summer when the fruit is just starting to size up, you notice the leaves at the bottom or the tips start turning a sickly yellow. Not the healthy yellow of autumn, but a dull, tired yellow with brown, crispy edges. The tree looks thirsty even though the soil is wet. And here's where almost every grower makes their first mistake. They assume it's a watering problem. So what do? They water more. And that's when things get worse, not better. The truth is, more water is often the exact opposite of what these trees need. I've seen growers drown a tree that was already struggling, thinking they were helping it, when really they were suffocating the roots and making the yellowing spread faster. The second common mistake is reaching for a random fertilizer, usually something high in nitrogen, because that's what's cheap and available at every garden center. Nitrogen will green up the leaves temporarily, sure, but it does absolutely nothing for the actual root cause, and in a lot of cases, it makes the soil chemistry even more hostile to the tree. The third mistake, and this is the one that took me years to figure out, is completely ignoring the soil's pH and mineral balance. Everybody talks about sun, water, and fertilizer, but almost nobody talks about what's actually happening chemically down in that root zone, and that is where this entire problem starts. So let's get into the real reason behind this, and I promise I'll keep this simple because you don't need a degree in soil chemistry to understand your own trees. Peach, plum, and cherry trees are all stone fruits, and stone fruits are naturally sensitive to acidic, compacted soil. When your soil becomes too acidic, which happens over time from repeated fertilizer use, heavy rainfall, or just naturally acidic native soil, something happens that most people never see coming. The roots lose their ability to properly absorb key nutrients, especially calcium, magnesium, and iron, even if those nutrients are technically present in the soil. It's not that the food isn't there, it's that the tree can't access it because the soil environment has become locked and hostile. This is called nutrient lockout, and it is one of the single biggest hidden killers of backyard fruit trees. When calcium and magnesium can't be absorbed properly, the tree cannot build strong cell walls in its leaves. Weak cell walls mean the leaves can't hold water efficiently, so even in perfectly moist soil, the leaves behave like they're in a drought. That's exactly why you see drying and yellowing happening even when the ground underneath is soaked. On top of that, acidic soil is the perfect breeding ground for certain fungal pathogens that live right at the root collar and slowly choke off the tree's ability to move water and nutrients up through its system. So you end up with this frustrating combination, a tree standing in wet soil, but starving and dehydrating at the same time from the inside out. This is exactly where baking soda comes into the picture, and I know it sounds almost too simple to be true, but stick with me because the chemistry behind it is rock solid and commercial growers have quietly used this trick for decades. They just don't talk about it much because it's not something a fertilizer company can sell you in a fancy bag. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, and it is mildly alkaline. When used correctly and in the right dilution, it gently raises the pH of overly acidic soil right around the root zone without shocking the tree or burning the roots the way a harsh chemical amendment might. Once that pH shifts back into the healthy range for stone fruit trees, which is roughly 6 to 6.5, the nutrient lockout releases almost immediately, and the roots can finally absorb the calcium, magnesium, and iron that were sitting there the whole time, just out of reach. Now let me walk you through exactly how professional and experienced growers approach this, step by step, because doing it randomly or guessing the amount can actually hurt your tree, and I want you to get this right the first time. Step 1 is diagnosis before treatment. Before you touch a single spoon of baking soda, go out to your tree and actually look closely at the pattern of yellowing. If the yellowing starts between the veins while the veins themselves stay green, that's a strong sign of the nutrient lockout we just talked about. If the whole leaf turns uniformly yellow and drops quickly, that could point to a different issue like root rot, so it's important you match the treatment to the actual symptom. I always tell people, don't treat blindly, observe first. Step 2 is testing your soil pH, and you don't need an expensive lab test for this. A basic pH strip test kit from any garden store will do the job. Take soil samples from about 6 inches down, right around the drip line of the tree, not right against the trunk. If your reading comes back below 6, meaning acidic, that confirms baking soda treatment is exactly what your tree needs. Step 3 is preparing the correct baking soda solution, and this is the part people get wrong most often. You want to mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda into 1 full gallon of water and stir it thoroughly until it's completely dissolved. Do not go stronger than this, because too much baking soda too fast can spike the sodium levels in your soil and cause a completely different problem. This is a gentle, gradual correction, not a one-time miracle dump. Step 4 is application timing and method. Water your tree normally first with plain water, then follow up with the baking soda solution poured slowly around the drip line, which is the outer edge of the canopy where the feeder roots actually live, not right at the base of the trunk. Early morning is the best time to apply this, before the heat of the day, so the solution has time to soak in properly without evaporating off the surface. Step 5 is frequency and patience. Apply this baking soda solution once every 10 to 14 days, never more frequently than that. You are not trying to force a change overnight. You're gently guiding the soil chemistry back into balance over a few weeks. Most growers, myself included, start seeing new healthy green growth appearing within 2 to 3 weeks of consistent application. Step 6, and this is something a lot of people skip, is pairing the baking soda treatment with a light calcium supplement, like crushed eggshells or gypsum worked into the top few inches of soil. Once the pH corrects itself and the lockout releases, giving the roots easy access to extra calcium right away speeds up the recovery dramatically because the tree can immediately start rebuilding those strong leaf cell walls we talked about earlier. Now let me paint the picture for you, the way I'd actually show you if we were standing in front of the tree together. Picture your peach tree right now. Walk up close to one of those yellowing branches. Look at the leaf. Really look at it. You'll notice the edges are curling slightly inward and turning that crispy brown, almost like it's been sitting too close to a heater, even though it hasn't. Run your fingers along the veins of the leaf. If they're still green, while the tissue around them is pale yellow, that's your confirmation right there. That's textbook nutrient lockout from acidic soil. And that's exactly the tree that responds beautifully to this baking soda method. Now look down at the soil right at the base. If it looks dark, slightly compacted, maybe even a little bit of white or grayish crust forming on the surface after watering, that's often a visual clue of mineral imbalance too. I've walked entire rows of trees in orchards where you could literally point out which trees were struggling with acidic soil just by that surface crust pattern before even touching a pH strip. That's the kind of pattern recognition that comes from paying close attention season after season. And it's exactly what I want you to start noticing on your own trees from today onward. I want you to try something with me right now before you keep watching. Go check one of your stone fruit trees today, peach, plum, or cherry, doesn't matter which, and look specifically at whether the yellowing is happening between the veins or across the whole leaf uniformly. Then come back down to the comments and type the word green if you found the between the veins pattern I just described, because that tells me and everyone else watching that your tree is a perfect candidate for this exact baking soda fix. I read every single comment, and I want to know how many of you are dealing with this exact issue right now. Now here's something I genuinely wish someone had told me years ago, something that separates the growers who get lucky once from the growers who get consistent results every single season. Most people apply baking soda treatment and then stop the moment the leaves green back up, thinking the job is done. That is a mistake, because the soil didn't just fix itself permanently, you temporarily corrected it. And if you go back to your old watering and fertilizing habits, the acidity will slowly creep back over the following months. The golden tip here is to test your soil pH every single season, ideally at the start of spring before bud break, and treat it as routine maintenance, not an emergency fix. The commercial growers who never deal with this yellowing problem year after year are not lucky, they are consistent. They've built soil pH, checking into their regular calendar the same way they schedule pruning or fertilizing. That one habit alone will save you more trees over the years than any single product you could ever buy. There's a second part to this golden tip that most people never think about, and that's mulching with the right material after your baking soda treatment. A lot of growers unknowingly use mulch like pine bark or certain wood chips that are naturally acidic, and over time that mulch breaks down and slowly reacidifies the exact soil you just worked to correct. After your treatment cycle, switch to a more neutral mulch like straw or aged compost, and you'll find your pH stays balanced for much longer between treatments, which means healthier roots and way less yellowing drama overall. Before we wrap this up, let's talk about the common mistakes I see people make when they try this baking soda method, because I don't want any of you undoing your own progress. The first mistake is going too strong with the concentration, thinking if 1 tablespoon works, 2 must work faster. It doesn't work that way with soil chemistry, and overdoing the sodium content can actually stress the roots even further, creating a whole new problem on top of the one you were trying to fix. The second mistake is applying it directly against the trunk instead of at the drip line where the actual feeder roots are located, which means the treatment never even reaches the part of the root system that needs it. The third mistake is impatience, expecting overnight results and giving up after just 1 or 2 applications when this is genuinely a gradual correction process that needs consistency over several weeks. And the fourth mistake, which honestly might be the most damaging one, is skipping the soil test altogether and just applying baking soda to every tree in the yard without confirming the soil is actually acidic in the first place. Because if your soil pH is already balanced or on the alkaline side, adding baking soda can push it too far in the wrong direction and create the exact yellowing problem you were trying to prevent. I want to leave you with this thought before you go. Growing healthy peach, plum, and cherry trees isn't about throwing expensive products at every problem you see. It's about understanding what's actually happening beneath the soil surface and responding to your tree with the right tool at the right time. This baking soda method costs you almost nothing. It's sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, and yet it solved a problem on my trees that fancy fertilizers and sprays could never fully fix, because those products were never addressing the real root cause in the first place. Your trees are talking to you through those yellowing leaves, and now you actually know how to listen and respond the right way. If this video helped you understand your trees a little better today, do me a solid favor and subscribe to this channel, because I've got a lot more of these practical, no-nonsense fixes coming your way that you genuinely won't find explained this clearly anywhere else. Hit that bell too, so you don't miss the next one. And speaking of what's coming next, in my next video, I'm going to show you the exact pruning mistakes that are silently reducing your peach harvest every single year. Mistakes that almost every backyard grower makes without even realizing it. So make sure you stick around for that one. Until then, go check your trees, try this method, and I'll see you in the next video.